Hello everybody and welcome back to the bass guitar build series. In this video we're going to get the Buckeye Burr top stabilised and all lovely and solid, and we're going to have our glamorous assistant Rosie. Yeah, let's go. Right, so to stabilise this Buckeye we're going to be using this West Systems 2-part epoxy, and I've got the, I think I bought the slow set one. Yeah, slow set one here, but first we need to thin it. So there are 3 ways to do this as far as I'm aware. I've never done it before, but we're just gonna go ahead and try. First method is to heat up both of these separately, add them together, and then it makes the mixture a little bit thinner. The second option is to heat up the wood itself, and then when you pour the mixture on, it kind of gets hot and then soaks in a bit more. And the third option is to use a thinner, such as methylated spirits or denatured alcohol or something like that. But if you do that method, it changes the properties of the epoxy and it's not going to be quite as effective. So we're going to go for method number 1, which is heating both of these up independently, which I'm going to be doing in these 2 tubs here. And then we're going to put boiling water in this tub and kind of, I don't know, we'll just sort of wing it as we go along really. We're going handheld. Right, I don't think the microphone picked that up.
Huh?
Go on, say it again.
I've been studying photography for 6 years, so...
She's very familiar with holding a camera.
There's nothing wrong with how I hold a camera.
She's used to holding...
You have to move
she's
the
used to the
camera.
camera. No, used to the camera being on a tripod. So first, yeah, you are meant to be filming this. So we're going to put some tape over some of the voids and things on here because I don't want the epoxy to soak through those because I want them to be actual voids as opposed to big epoxy windows. So this is like a masking painter's tape sort of thing. It's lovely, isn't it? It's really nice. If you were a tape, you'd be this tape. Oh, thanks. Ooh. If you want to put it on the tripod while I'm doing this, actually, I can time lapse it. If you want.
It's fine.
Yeah?
We're fine. That was so satisfying.
That was very satisfying, wasn't it? That'll do.
Is that the...
Just not cut through it enough. You gotta go around to get. You're using the knife upside down, that's why.
You're gonna keep that in, aren't you?
Yep.
Why didn't you tell me which way round to hold the knife?
I thought it was quite obvious which way the blade was.
It's really not
Oh my lord.
distracting me.
Hey, that works. First, the epoxy.
What's the epoxy?
This glue stuff when you hit yourself in the head with it.
No, I hit myself in the gum with it.
In the gum.
Yeah.
So, to do this, we've got a metal baking tray here that I've just, it's got boiling water in it, so the metal's really hot. So, water is going in there, and I'm going to put 2 parts of epoxy in these tubs, which is going to heat them up. And then underneath this Buckeye, there is a bit of plywood that's been parcel taped, so it's all completely waterproof. And then I've put some machine wax over it as well. So have a feel of this, Rosie. It feels really nice and smooth. Yeah. It's nice, isn't it? Yeah. So then, hopefully, if any epoxy does leak through this, which inevitably it will, it won't soak up to it. 100 grams, maybe? Is that going to be enough? Nah, more than that. I've gone over it anyway. Let's do 200. Now, when mixing epoxy, you have got to get it spot on, or else it doesn't dry. Oh, there you go, 200. So 200 in that one. We'll get him heating up. Then in this one, careful not to get water in it. Put the hardener, and you need to mix this 1 to 5, so to 40 grams in this one. I think I've done way too much here. 40G. And then apparently, this should start heating them up. So I'm going to get some sort of mixy device. Oh my god, it does work. Oh, so it won't cross-contaminate them just yet. Get another mixy stick. Ooh, it most certainly is getting thinner. Is that water still hot? Ah, yeah. Then we'll pour the hardener into this. Oh, that's so thin, that's unbelievable. And the thing is with epoxy is that it's a, is it an exothermic reaction? Which means that when it's drying, it gets very hot. So if you put them together in the tub and then heat it up, you're essentially speeding up the cure time. So it's going to become thicker. You need to mix them independently, then put them together, and then that should be ready to go. Oh God, I am scared.
I'm scared.
So am I. Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, look at the colour it's going though. There's a lot of technique in this, as you can see. Did you think it would go that colour?
No.
It's cool, isn't it?
Wait, that's going to be the final colour?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, that just looks mental, doesn't it? Well, I think that's probably enough. Now let's get my brush. Oh, this is way too much. It's going to be a thick layer of epoxy.
Epoxy.
Epoxy. Americans love epoxy. I've put way too much on. This is going to be like a millimetre thick layer of it. Oh no, there's a hair in it. So I've just been getting all of the excess glue off and dumped it back into the tub. So now there won't be a 2mm thick layer of epoxy on there. It should be a nice thin layer for now, but hopefully the rest of it is just going to slowly soak in over time, providing I stop brushing it at some point. Right, so I've decided I'm going to take this tape off before this dries, because Rosie made a good point. It's going to be like mummified in the epoxy otherwise. So yeah, I feel like it'd be best to get it off now. Shouldn't be too much of an issue because there's not enough epoxy in here to flow into those cracks and create a massive window there. So let's see. Floppy. Oh, bum. Actually, if you are able to spread it in those inside walls as well, the bark, that'd be quite good.
You've got a smaller brush?
To be honest, actually, this is so mullered right now, you could probably use that. That'll do.
That'll do.
That'll do. Right, so now the Buckeye Burr has been stabilised, or it's drying over there. We're going to focus on the veneer, which is going to be sandwiched between the body and the Buckeye Burr, so that when it's all glued together, we get like this thin black line going all the way around, which should be quite nice. I put out a little Instagram story. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I did a poll on my story. I do it every now and then, probably not very often, but yeah, did a poll and most people are saying black, although orange is starting to catch up a bit. No, I don't want orange, I want black.
Why should you do a poll then if you know what you want?
Because I like to think that I'm including people. We're going to do black, so I've got some lovely eucalyptus, well, smoked eucalyptus, and it's curly and oh, isn't that just cool? So this is going to be veneered on top of here. Buckeye Burr is going to go on top. And then I'm going to be doing like a little bit of shaping back here as well. So kind of when you're playing, your arm can like rest on it quite nicely. And that black line is quite prominent there as well. So to do this, we need to, I need to make this join a little bit better between them. So what we're creating here is a long grain shooting board. So I can shoot the end of the veneer nice and square. Oh God, I hate this clamp so much. Oh, it's because I haven't tightened it up enough on here. It's just pushing itself out the hole. Oh, silly me. There we go. So that down on there like that, just overhanging the edge. Hard bit of material on top to sandwich it in place. You know that brown cabinet I made, the one that was on legs? Yeah. I had to do this with 64 sheets of this on there, on both sides. It was quite boring. I did question my career choice. Yeah. It's like, yeah, body hair. Do you want to have a go?
Yeah.
Yeah? So there you go.
Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel.
So that on there. You don't want to press down too hard into it or else it'll just crush it. So you stand here on the end. So it goes in there, and then you just through like that.
Feels like it should be making more of a noise.
No, it's taking off a very small amount. You got to press down quite hard on this top bit. Go on, you got this. You got to go right from the end. Yeah. So we got a lovely joint between those two bits, and we're just going to tape them together. What I'm doing as I tape over this gap, just stretching the tape a little bit so that when that tension's released, it pulls the leaves together and you get a nice joint between them. Spot on, the right amount. Spot on. So I'm going to need to glue this down without getting any glue into these voids or in this control cavity. Doesn't matter about these ones, but those ones are the main problems. That's what most of these videos are, it's just me thinking. Tape over them again, cut off the excess tape, and then peel off the tape before sticking on the top. Something like that. So now I'm just making a clamping device thing. So this is, what is going on out there? So this is going to press the veneer down in place, make sure it's nice and flat on the body. This needs to be bandsawn out. So this has been cut to size, but what I've realised is that I cannot stick this on yet. The reason being, once I press this down onto it and everything, yes, this veneer is going to sit flat over 90% of this body. However, this area here, where the cavity is, it's going to be pressed down nice and solidly, but then the rippliness of this is just going to bubble into that cavity there. So that's obviously going to be an issue looking through from the other side, but also when it comes to putting the Buckeye on there, that surface isn't going to be flat. So what I need to do is actually stick this to the Buckeye first, I think. And then once that is all on there, stick it on after that. So what we're going to do for today, finish, because we need the epoxy to dry, and I'm a little bit conscious of time. You're going for a tour, right? So yeah, we're going to cut for today, and then we're going to do exactly as I did in the previous episode, I think, which is combine 2 days into one. So I guess we'll be skipping to the next day. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up for the most smoothest video transition you have ever seen in your life. So I actually got to the workshop today and completely forgot that there was a show on. So instead of doing work, I've pretty much been chatting to visitors all day, and it is now 6:30 in the evening, and I've only just got a chance to start filming. But I got the Buckeye out of the cramps, and it is looking lovely. There was a little bit of leak through on the backside, but I've just been cleaning that up throughout the day. Still got a little bit to finish off now, so I'm going to do that with the trusty sander, and then hopefully we're going to get this veneer glued on at a reasonable time before it starts getting dark. So how about this for the most overkill extraction for a sander? Look at that nozzle going straight through to the old chip extractor. No dust should come out of this. So I'm going to be using the Mirrorless Deros, which has been lent to me by a friend. Thank you, Tom. And what I really like about the Mirrorless, this one in particular, is it comes with 2 different size pads. So you can get a 150mm pad and a 125mm pad, easily interchangeable, and it's got this lovely like paddle system on here. So that's how you turn it on, and it is variable as well. So if you press down loads, it goes really fast, and if you kind of just take the weight off your palm like that, it slows down. So you can get very fine-tuned sanding with this, and it's really lightweight as well. So this isn't a Mirrorless advertisement, by the way. I'm just saying how much I love this machine. But saying that, I am stuck between buying this or the Faithfull ETS EC. So if you have any experience with the Faithfull ETS EC, which is a model that looks similar to this, then let me know in the comment section how you're finding it, because I'm a bit stuck at the moment. Power. No freaking way. Look what I've just discovered. That is just amazing. Right then, I know this looks crude, but that's left a really smooth finish on there. Yes, it's level, but it's not the best surface to glue to. So I'm holding this hole saw because I'm going to use this to tooth the surface. So essentially just scraping over it a bit. And then I've got this bit of beach here that I'm going to plane kind of a small bridge into, and you'll see why later on. Right, let's see how this works out. So, bit of veneer on the bottom, making sure that the tape is down like that so I don't stick the tape to the Buckeye. Then this Buckeye will be going on top, making sure not to stick the epoxy side down, of course. And then we got this with more packing tape on this side to sandwich it in place. Now we'll get that locked down. Of course, this is a dry fit. I haven't forgot to put the glue on or anything. So I've actually made 3 of them, but we've got this sort of arced bit of wood, and if I put that on there, it rocks. So that means that if I put pressure on the edges here, it's actually going to be pressing in the middle because I don't have any cramps that can reach that far in. So by doing that, cramping either edge, it's going to press this plywood down in the center. So I've got another one that's going to go there, and another one, is that it? That's going to go sort of around here area, I think. There you go, so that's all the cauls in place, which means I should just then be able to assemble cramps around that. I think we're ready to get gluing this. Oh, right, please do not go wrong. Come on, do it, do it. Let's go. Bit of tape at all the thirds to make sure that the veneer can't slip. Tape is definitely not sticking to the Buckeye, which is always good. Let's do some mushing. It's actually crazy how different this wall looks without any cramps hanging from it. Like, I just sort of looked at it, I was like, what's different about, oh, hang on, yeah, it's all here. Don't know how I didn't notice that happening. I'm sure it'll be fine. Right, there we go. So I think we're going to call it there for today because that's obviously drying. I could start the headstock now because I have enough Buckeye Burr to make the headstock, so I can thickness that down to 10 millimeters and then stick on the 5mm Buckeye to make 15 millimeters. However, cutting that down is going to involve using machines, and also planing down these headstock blanks involves using the planer thicknesser. And although it doesn't look it, because obviously it's summer, it's getting quite late right now and we have people in houses there and they probably won't be too happy with me turning on a planer thicknesser. So we're going to call it there and we'll attack all of this tomorrow. I'll see you then.